Hey, everybody, and welcome to Six Scale Symposium, Episode 5. I'm Graham from the Jedi Knights Watch, and tonight we have a very special guest. We have Anthony from SixScaleMafia. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me, man. It's awesome. We get
Hey,
to
thanks for
do some
coming.
one-on-one and have some
Yeah.
good talks, man.
Yeah, so this is a show I started. It's more of like a hangout. Obviously, we're both kind of up and coming channels, so it's a good time for us to kind of interact with the audience. And if you guys want to ask questions, go ahead and throw them out there. And it's just a good way for us to interact and hang out with you guys. So it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I've caught some of your stuff too, Anthony. And that's partly why I just wanted you to come on my show, because I just love talking to you and just kind of getting your opinion on stuff. So it's
Well, I
going to be
appreciate it,
fun.
man. 100%, man. Yeah, it is fun when we were over on Dante's, and yeah, I look
Right.
forward to it, man.
And I think we're both going to be back there tomorrow night. So should be another good night
Yeah,
on Man of
yeah.
Hot
Between
Collectibles.
collectors.
So, all right. Well, without further ado, let's roll that intro and get going. All right. So the first thing that I like to do in this show is just go through some news and notes. This can be personal. This can be what's going on in the six scale community. So the first thing that's funny, because the first thing I want to talk about is a quarter scale figure on the Six Scale Symposium. So if anybody didn't know, I did get the quarter scale Dark Knight Rises from Hot Toys. It is a beautiful figure. I did review it, so that is up on the channel if you guys want to check that out. Let's just see who's in the house so far quickly, though. We have Jason. What's up, fam? How you doing there, sir? Thanks for stopping in. We have Blurred Dad Life, ready to talk figures. Got Jazzy and Primetime Reviews. Thanks for coming in. All right. So I also picked up, Anthony, I know you already have this figure, the armor.
Yes.
So that should be here tomorrow. Not sure if I'm going to review it or not. Probably. I mean, it's been out a hot minute, but I might still review it. But I finally pulled the trigger after episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett. So we'll talk about that. And just quickly, what do you think about the figure? Is it worth getting? Do you enjoy it? I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah. All right, so yes, I like her. This is what's so difficult, right? Because she is my most disappointing figure of 2021.
Oh, yes.
Okay, but she's still great, and I did a review of her when she came out as well.
Okay.
And I had mentioned it in my, because I'm, Hot Toys doesn't pay us, so I'm honest. I'll tell you how I feel, and I was a little harsh in the review, but I still preface that, like, hey, she's still a great figure. It's hard when Hot Toys sets the bar so high that, and somewhat it's a praise, because as high as their bar is set, even at the lowest rank figure of the year, it's still high praise. You know what I mean? I can't knock her too much. I was disappointed because, and you'll know, I guess, when you get her, that like the accessories are kind of chintzy. They're really flimsy. She got these strange screws in her feet, and she's single jointed. And then on her waist, her skirt is so thick plastic that there's not a lot of art. She's really basic, right? She's really basic.
So no dynamic poses for her.
No, man. And I was, and the reason why I gave her such a low hit for me is because she was a Toy Fair exclusive. So you would think maybe she'd come with a forge or an anvil,
right,
or something kind of, hey, this is a Toy Fair, special kind of rare release, and it's just very basic, bare bones.
Do you think part of that is because it was like they kind of rushed it out? Because she came out pretty quickly.
She did. Yeah, I don't know. She did come out pretty quick. You are right on that. But I mean, I'm sure they probably had her developed ahead of time.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. It's not like they just slapped this stuff together in 2 months and threw her out.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? So I feel like, yeah.
Well, I'm interested. I think I'll probably have to review it, even if just for my sake, just so I can kind of get eyes on it, get hands on it, and see how I like it. Because yeah, we'll talk about it, everybody. But Book of Boba Fett episode 5, man, it was good. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. So, Anthony, YouTube fan, says, "Hello, you two. Nice to see you. Curious to see what Koska and Axe look like." Oh, so am I. So am I.
Ooh,
And that
yeah.
actually kind of leads me to the next thing. And we did talk about this on Manahot Collectibles live stream last week. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I do,
Hmm.
now that it's kind of sat for a week, Anthony, I want to see what your thoughts are. If you still feel the same way that you did, maybe last week. So let me just see if I can bring this up. All right. So, if anybody has been living under a rock, we did get announcements for Koska Reeves and Axe Woves. There's been a lot of, I wouldn't say backlash, but I guess complaints on where the head sculpt is here. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like you can't please everybody, right? Like at the end of the day, like I feel like I don't even know who this guy is. Like, so I'm not trying to be, so I'm one of those guys, right? Where it's like I watched, obviously I watched all of Mando, but I mean, even as like the actor and forgive me if, some of these, it's like one of their favorite actors. I don't know. I don't know I don't know the guy's name. I forget his name. I know it's been mentioned, but the thing is he had like very little screen time. And I get it. I get why they did it, just because the price point, right? It's the same price as of Death Watch. They're both $235. They could have probably given it a sculpt, but I don't know if he. And then again, I don't know though, right? Because you got Fennec has way more screen time, but Koska Reeves, we don't know, right? We don't know what's happening with her in the future. So one could argue that does she deserve a head sculpt versus Axe Wolves? But she's way more known.
Right.
You
Well,
know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and I know some people like, well, you gave Sasha Banks or Koska Reeves her head sculpt, so you should have done it here too, because now you need to display them all three. And I can't believe there's a ton of collectors out there that would really want to display all three with their helmets off. Like, I don't know. And maybe there are, but to me, I want their helmets on. Like, I think they just look so badass. I want all
me
three of them
too.
set up just like this. And I think that this speaks to more Boba Fett Mandalorian fans as well, where they just love collecting Boba Fett style figures that I still think it's going to sell fairly well. And here, like, just the power pose here just looks so awesome. I love this more than the Death Watch Mando. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's just got more character to him, in my opinion.
He's a little beefier, and the color palette's brighter.
Yep.
The blue on the Death Watch is a little more muted. Like a low contrast blue. I think that's what really hits. All these, they're all bright blue. They look fantastic together. I agree in that respect. Like they all look really good right there with helmets. But then you see like the sculpts of Koska, and then Fennec, even though she's not really associated in this faction. But you know what I mean? You look at that and you're like, damn, okay, so the sculpts are so damn good. I
It's a shame.
you'd want to just put on a helmet because you're like, damn, the sculpt's amazing. So it's tough. That's
would
where I
be
happen
nice.
with my stuff. I always switch.
Yeah, and that's exactly. It would be nice to switch things up to have that option, but at the same time, I don't even remember what the dude looks like. Like, I
I
think we
don't
saw
either.
him once without his helmet on, so I'm not hurt about it because if you can keep the price point down at to 235, I'm all in, so that doesn't bother me one bit. But I know for some people, you want everything to be consistent and the same across the board, and I get that. So either way, though, I think these two new figures are going to be great. I'm not sure why Hot Toys waits this long though to announce certain figures. Like season 2 was a year ago. I mean, maybe they know something we don't, where we're going to see them in season 3 more. I don't know what. It always baffles me about sometimes their timing. Do you have
Well,
any 2 cents about that?
yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, you take what I say with a grain of salt, but I mean, usually there's production cues, like Hot Toys doesn't own the factories.
Right.
And keep that in mind, when dealing overseas, they have multiple factories and a lot of companies use the same. Now, I think Hot Toys is kind of exclusively rents a factory though, to where like no other stuff is going in and out, but I don't know
Okay.
for sure, like, cause for example, 3-0 could be using that factory, so whatever
Okay.
the queue is. So I think that's primarily the issue, is they have a production queue. And the secondary problem, I think, is that they weren't at the time anticipating the giant that Disney really is, right? When Disney Plus is launched and now all of a sudden you're getting, multiple Star Wars shows, multiple Marvel shows. The movies have been kind of there's been a couple Marvel movies recently, but Star Wars is pretty much dead in the movie department right now. But with all of that, and let's not even forget DC,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't really shown them much love, but they still are supporting the DC property. So they're so backlogged, man, that they could have started working on this 6 months ago, and now they're just
True.
announcing it because they have a schedule, they have a time frame, and sometimes if the factory's like, hey, this one's ready to go, then this one's ready to go, and then they'll announce it. You know what I'm saying? So it's they're so behind.
Well, that's a good
You know
point.
what I mean?
That's a good point, because I never thought about it that way. I just figured you can announce it when you want to announce it, and however long it takes you to make it, that's how long it takes you. So it's a different way of thinking. So no, I appreciate that. Before we take a look here at Miss Koska, we have Combat Evolve in the house, says, hey
Hey.
all. Jazzy says, brah, y'all ready for that classic suit Spidey release?
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing stuff about that.
I'm ready.
Axe Wolves pass. Koska is a pickup. Didn't Axe die? No, but didn't he get recast though? I heard.
I
A
don't know. He just
possible?
disappeared. He wasn't on screen anymore.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
he
know.
just didn't go with them aboard Moff Gideon's ship. We saw him once, and then the next episode he wasn't there.
Clink, what up, guys? What's up, Clink? Daniel, one of the biggest Jedi Knights Watch supporters. I'd rather not pay for the head sculpt for a secondary character. I guess that's kind of where I fall in line as well, and that's why it doesn't bother me, because I'm just okay with the price, because again, I don't even know what he looks like, so I just think he looks badass in all of his gear.
Well, it's definitely polarizing in that sense because Hot Toys was originally were known for the actors. We're making life size, or not life size, life like, 6 scale figures. They wanted to represent the actors. That's like what they're. That's how, you know what I mean. That's what they're known for. So it's weird. Yeah, on one hand, you have collectors that are just like, dude, I want head sculpts. That's why I buy these figures. That's why I pay this much money for them. Why don't I have a head sculpt? So I kind of I see both points of view.
True. I do too. And again, you can't, like you said, you just can't please everybody, unfortunately. And for some reason, they just decided this figure was good enough without the head sculpt. We got Beskar Kid in the house.
Hey,
I'm
Scar.
one who would display without helmets. Any figure that comes with portrait always gets displayed that way. Anthony, YouTube fan, guaranteed Koska and Axe will have more screen time in the future. Love Axe's color palette. If I were a Mando, my colors would be black, gray, and charcoal. That's an interesting question we might have to put in our back pocket. Is if you were a Mando, what color scheme would you have? I
Ooh.
like that.
Probably be that blue, to be honest with you.
It looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
blue's my favorite color, so it looks good. A Mandalorian who removes his helmet is no longer Mandalorian. Hey, no spoilers. Just kidding. We may have spoilers today. We will. We'll see in the house. Hey, fellas. All right. Can you go over the new Batman 1/6 from the Batman movie? I kind of did last week, but if we have time, we can go over it a little bit today. We didn't really see a whole lot yet,
Yeah, it's just a tease. I
so
mean,
it's tough to get a good idea of what it's gonna look like, but I'm excited for it.
yeah, me too. Me too. I really am. I think it's either gonna be amazing or it's gonna bomb. I don't think there's a middle ground for it.
They're showing a lot of scenes on YouTube or like
I've
cuts
been
or
trying to stay
X.
away. I know
I
because they
know.
have been, and I'm like,
But everything I've seen looks great. But yeah, it's like I don't want to see too much here. But it is 3 hours runtime, so at least we're gonna be having that going for us. Um, but to Koska Reeves, are you still in love with this figure as much as you were last week?
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, as long as we get this right, because Hot Toys is that gamble, right, where you have amazing prototype, shots, and then you get the final product, and it's softer. It's not as it's definitely not the same, right?
Right.
But then on the other side of the coin, you've had some horrible prototypes, and then you get amazing final products. So it's like you never know, man. You never know. But if she looks just like these when I get her in my hand, then absolutely, I'll be ecstatic because I think she looks phenomenal.
I don't know. I just love the helmets on all of them. They have so much character in themselves, and then you get all the weathering and the detail and the damage. It almost makes Fennec look plain here on the side.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I would agree. Because I mean, while her colors complement, with the black and the orange, the contrast, she looks great. I mean, and the sculpt obviously is phenomenal on Fennec, but yeah,
Mhm.
I think she's blurred into the background, because she's all black mostly, and then you look at all this armor, and like you said, there's so much detail, the color shading, the multiple color palettes, the damage, plus all the belts, the pouches, like it all mixes together as one ensemble, and then the helmets, and even the skull. I mean, dude, yeah, these are amazing.
Well, and we talked about it too. She doesn't have that death stare. Like she actually has like personality in this head sculpt. She looks like she's focused or she's, focusing on something or she's in the moment, which I think is great if Hot Toys can keep that up too and give us figures that actually look like they're alive. But this one, it's got that. Like you see it in the face
I
here.
agree. No, I agree. It's not a dead stare like a lot of the hot toys that we have. I mean, there's some kind of emotion there, and it's subtle, but I think, like, even just standing there, like, to me, that's a museum pose right there,
Mhm.
and I would be okay with that. That looks phenomenal right there. Like, just standing there, no joints, movements, no bends. She's just chilling. She's got the helmet. She's got her gun. A little bit of a hip twist and a little head cock, but I mean, dude, she looks that right there. I could see that sitting right there on my shelf, looking just like that, and that looks great.
And this is my type of pose. I'm more museum, but I like to keep it simple, but yet effective, like realistic, but not over the top, I guess. So this is definitely down my alley. But I love how even the belt, just the bright brown of the belt and the holster, and then these little kind of, I think it's stitching on the pants, just how it kind of balances with the whole outfit. It's just the whole thing just looks great.
Yeah,
Like I
no, I
said,
agree.
I
The
said on
whole ensemble.
Dante's show, this is the figure I never thought I needed, but, like, seeing her, it's just like, I can't wait until she comes out, like, I just gotta get her.
Yeah, dude, I agree, 100%. I like how she's lightly armored as
Mhm.
well. I mean, obviously she's wearing armor, but in comparison to like Axe Wolves or even the Death Watch, I mean, her armor is much less. Probably because she's female, or maybe that's just her design. As it is. Because again, Hot Toys isn't really taking artistic liberties here. They're known for screen accuracy, but I mean, I like that because the armor's not so overwhelming on the figure. Like you're saying, you're getting all this cool fabric and stitching, and you. So when you look at it as a whole, you're like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here. Doesn't may not seem like it, but there's a lot, and I think that's what makes them so pleasing to our eyes because then it looks more real. Like the actual person. Maybe not. Never mind the sculpts, but when you're looking at it as an actual like human, you're like, oh, Okay, I see that. Like, you know how some like Iron Mans, they look too clean,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, that doesn't look. Your eye doesn't necessarily grasp it. It's still like, I know this is a toy, you know. But when you have things that look more natural, like with those bends and the curves, you know, and the head cock, and then with all the different, you know, weathering and damage and paint apps and stitching and different fabric, then our eyes look at that and go, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It really
Yep.
it pulls us in. We're like, that is like a person right there.
Well, then just looking at the shoulder plate here, like just I still get blown away even after a couple years here, but like just the paint missing and the intricate stitch, the scratches and weathering all around the edges. I don't know, just it still just blows my mind. So that's awesome and a great
It's
head
just
sculpt.
amazing.
So you're still getting both?
Yeah, I'm gonna still get both. I'm gonna still get both. Well,
And
yeah, for me, I mean, I'm already a fan of, you know, I mean, I collect Star Wars,
right.
so, and I like Mando, so why not? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, Axe Wolves is not really that important to me. I know a lot of people are probably gonna skip him, but you know, I'm gonna have him, have her, have Bo-Katan. Perfect. You know, if I want to add a couple of Death Watch there just to throw it in and kind of make like this ensemble display, you can do that or whatever. I mean, yeah, I just they all look great, man.
They
I'm
do.
100% grabbing everything.
Well, before we move on, Jason says it's not even Wednesday and he's getting Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't planning ever on getting Koska, but this one is one of those times when the sculpt just gives you feel good vibes. Bo-Katan and Koska for me. I'm sure there still will be a lot of people that do skip out on Axe Wolves, and I don't blame them either, but I think it's one I'm going to still get.
Well, it depends. You know, it depends on how you display your figures.
Right. I just
You know,
think
for
they look
me,
so
they're
awesome, all three together.
yeah, that's how I am, and I don't have DTOFs. You know, I built my own displays, so it's like not to say I cram things in them, but they're much wider, so I can, you know, I can make that like that group shot. You know, which
Yeah.
is difficult to do in DTOFs. Yeah, it starts getting clutter looking, and you know, so I get where people are like, well, maybe I'm gonna pass on this one, because maybe they have them in their DTOFs and they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like for me,
I
I'm like, bring it
ordered
on.
I ordered Maju cases back in last May, and I'm still waiting for them. And I have 5 DTOFs, and they're already getting crammed. I'm pretty much up to 3 in a shelf, and I don't like it. Like I used to have 1 per shelf, and then it got to be 2, and I'm like, this still works. Now it's 3, and you try to stagger them and have them looking good, but I want to utilize space better, and I'm hoping they don't get delayed another quarter here. But Jorge says, what would you guys recommend for a wall mounted display case for 1/6 scale figures? Wall
Or wall
mounted.
mounted, like hovering, so it's like just like a wall mount, like your TV's mounted. I don't know. I don't.
I've
Something
made,
that's heavy and something that's it's that you can bolt into the studs, man. Because
yeah.
you don't want that to fall. Like, yeah.
I've made my own like shelves. You just buy like a, I don't know, 1x8 or 1x10 board. You can buy the piping at your local hardware store, and yeah, like Anthony said, you can go right into the studs. So I've done that, but yeah, I don't know about. I mean, your best bet is honestly a DTOF. Is it the Billy case? The
Billy's like a
other
bookshelf
yeah,
style.
Billy bookshelf, or I mean, Maju case is really expensive, but even like Anthony did, you can buy like the big old racks, and I'm sure you could like bolt that to the wall for support, or like so it didn't tip over. But
Oh, these things are so heavy they won't fall. I mean, but now if you want to float them, you know, have them hovering like
yeah,
that. And I don't know, man. Yeah, I would say what you're saying. Just get some wood, put it together, get it in the studs. Oh, you could do Bestas though. I mean, the IKEA Bestas, they come with the wall mounts. But again, you know, dealing with stuff like that, you always want to make sure you're in studs, because
you
if it's
can't risk
drywall
it.
or whatever, it's just gonna fall right. You're gonna be really pissed, and it's not gonna be fun, and you'll probably break some figures or worse.
And you don't have to have some high end expensive case or anything like that. Like I don't know if anybody watches Dean Knight, but simplistic. He just has a room with 2 shelves on both sides. He puts all of his figures there. Honestly, the only reason I don't do that is because I don't want to put up with dusting or cleaning the figures. I want them kind of sealed off away from the elements. But I mean, shelves can look okay too.
Yeah, no, absolutely they can. I mean, mine right now, I don't have my, I still need to buy the rest of my acrylic to seal them up. So even like right now, mine are open. Mine are subject to the elements, you know, the dust and everything. But yeah, it's annoying. But I'm gonna finish these, and when I do, then they'll be sealed because I prefer it too.
Do you dust all your figures?
Yeah. I dust. I use 303, like, you know, leather protector, and you know, every few months I kind of spend a day because I have a lot of figures. I'm like, all right, let me just clean up a little bit. But I use a makeup brush.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, like a really thick makeup brush, and then you could just kind of you know, like a duster, you know.
I'm a girl dad, and my girls are 4 and 3, and I have like one of those pink dusters in my drawer, and they'll find it, and then they're like, I'm like, no, they're like doing it on their own face. I'm like,
right,
I've used that for dusting.
Right.
But let's see, we got 6 scale reviews. What's up, fellas? We'll see. Here's a fun thought. If she didn't have a wrestling career, would that change anything? Just curious to see how much effect her WWE alias has. That's a good question, because we really didn't see her much, but we did see her a lot more compared to Axe Wolves. Because she was even in the scene.
I don't watch wrestling anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
I didn't even know she was until everybody was like, yeah, she's in there. I'm like, oh,
okay.
But I still like her. So for me, it has no impact. But
yeah, same here. I think I stopped after the Attitude Era, maybe early 2000s, watching WWE, but
I didn't even make it that far. No, mine's all 80s, bro.
I was always a big fan of Sting in the WCW.
Yeah, I do remember that. I just remember my classics, the Andre Giant, and Hulk Hogan, and, you know, Macho Man, Roddy Rod Piper, that type of, like, that was my era. And then I don't know, I kind of fell off as time went on. You know what I mean?
It's like it really is a male soap opera. I mean, it just, things kind of repeat itself over time. But Jazzy says, did you order directly from ModuCase? I ordered through Comic Concepts last April and still nothing. I did order from ModuCase, and when they gave me my first delay, I made sure to reply back saying, you know, thanks for the response. And then I just said that I'm really looking forward to getting them to review on my YouTube channel. And I think that kind of, yeah, I don't, doesn't have to be like big YouTube, but I think they want as much positivity in the community as possible. So Brian, who works with ModuCase, reached out to me, and he even tried getting me half of my display around Christmas, but because I have the DTOFs in the back, I kind of got to move them all out, and I don't have room to just have 4 of the 8 ModuCases. So I just said I'll wait for Q1, but you know, so he'll let me know. And then now I kind of got the 1 quarter here, and I've been looking at statues more, which is extremely dangerous because I don't have the room or the funds to get into that. But I'm wondering if I should switch up my display. So if down the road I do decide to get a little bit more quarter scale, that I would have the room. But
see, that's the problem. That's the problem I have right there. And that's the reason why I have never, or I have as of yet, I should say, I never want to say never, but how I have as of yet not purchased a ModuCase.
Yeah. I mean,
of course I like them, but that's the problem. They're a year and a half out, and my attention span doesn't last that long.
Right.
So now I have to plan, right? Okay, I'm buying them right now. And here's the thing. If I buy ModuCases, I'm buying ModuCases. I'm not getting them in waves. Right? I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to measure it. And then I'm going to just rip the Band-Aid and do it. You know? But then, oh shit, now I'm kind of into these statues. Who knows? Right? Now I have to kind of like mix. You see what I'm saying? It's hard for me because, you know, things change and life changes and we change, and then a year and a half goes by, and then you're like, damn, I sold all my Hot Toys. I mean, maybe you didn't, but you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you started getting into more and more statues, or now you have to like, maybe you moved, right? Maybe you moved and now you're in a new place and you're like, oh shoot, I measured this for this. And then it's hard. I love them. I really think they're great. I love what he's doing with them. It's just that wait time.
It's killer.
It's not realistic for me right now. If they can cut that down, give me 6 months, maybe.
Right.
I'll do that. I'll make it work, but.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, Funko Pops were my starter drug. You know, I started collecting Funkos, and then I got into NECA a little bit. And I was getting a little bit more detailed and a little bit more expensive. And then I started seeing Hot Toys, and then now I'm looking at statues. But so I'm trying to be really careful. Like, if I could get one Batman statue, that might hold me, that might suffice. But who knows? Because I got this guy, and I was like, "Oh, what did I do? Like, I don't really need this. I don't have the room." So I put him back up for sale, and he's still up for sale, but I'm kind of like, I'm getting ready to like pull him because I'm like starting to fall in love with him a little bit
See,
more.
now you're like, oh, I might want to see what I'm saying. Our minds change, and then
that's the thing. Like, and the Modu cases I got are all made for 6 scale. I mean, it's big. It's the same footprint as my 5D toffs, so I'll be able to fit a ton.
But you got the 6th brand or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Thanos will fit, but this guy wouldn't. So I mean, it's still okay. My Hulk will fit. There's something else that I want to put in there that wouldn't fit. That was 6 scale. I think it's my Thanos with the base won't fit, but he'll fit. So I mean, I'll probably just sit tight.
You can make that work.
Yeah, I'll just sit tight because I think if I do open up that world where I make it like adjustable shelves or something, then I'll be in big trouble. So yeah, but yeah, Modu Case is great. I mean, a super idea, but man, you do have to have the funds. So I guess just start saving if anybody's interested in that. Daniel says 3 per shelf. Haha, you'd hate my setup. Now, I don't judge anybody's setup, but for me, everybody's got to have their own display their own way. And for me, like, I do like to have a clean look. Like, even in my basement, it's just one room. I got my Thanos right here, and then my Infinity War gauntlet, my Han Solo and Carbonite, and this is all my desk area. I have my quarter scale. I got my small NECA turtles, and the wife's like, "This looks junky. This is too busy." So I'm like, "Well, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'll disconnect and I'll sell something, and I'll move on to get something else and whatnot." So I don't know. It's different. I mean, we're all changing and we all have our own opinions about what our collection looks like, but I like seeing other people's collections, and I don't judge because anything gives me other ideas on what I can do with my setup. So
I agree. I think display is a huge factor in collecting. Because look, you and I have the same figure, right? All of us in the chat have the same figure. Okay. So what makes your figure different than mine? All right. Well, how do you have him posed? How is he displayed? Like those are things I think of as well when talking to other collectors. I'd like to see that. That's why I'm on Instagram, and that's why we follow people with each other, because it's a passion that we're all into. So I love seeing that. I think a display is huge. It tells you about the person a little bit more. How do they like to display? Like you said, you prefer more of a museum style pose, right? I'm more dynamic. I like to really pose my figures when I can. But then if I look at some of your poses, I'm like, damn, that looks really good. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll try that. Or you might be like, ooh, maybe I'm gonna try to bend that joint a little bit and see what I can get away with, and or what kind of lights you use, or things like that, or how do you do your displays? Like Jorge was talking about, like trying to mount them on the wall. I mean, for example, what you could do actually, since you brought it up, the Modu cases that are the 6-scale Modu case ones, right? The smaller ones. You just get a stable enough piece of wood, paint it, whatever, so it's not wood color unless that's your thing. Paint it black, right? Because the Modu case, right, for the frame. And then you just bolt that into the studs. Measure it out to the length of your 6-scale Modu case, as long as you're not stacking those, right?
Right.
And you can make a nice little thin you know what I'm saying? Like a little wall strip right there with a bunch. do something like that. That's really
There you
cool.
go.
Put a little couple helmets on top of it, you know, something lightweight.
I like
Maybe
it.
get a couple shelves around the sides or whatever, posters, art prints, mix it up. I mean,
I do have a
it's all,
couple helmets coming my way as well. Black Series.
some of them aren't bad, man. I got that Mando Black Series and it's phenomenal.
So yeah, I got the Stormtrooper and the Mando coming my way. I'd like their new Boba Fett repaint as well,
Mm.
but we'll
Yeah,
see.
helmets
We'll
are
see.
a whole nother path, bro.
I
Because I
can't
have
stop.
three. You know, I've got a Vader, a Mando, and a custom. Somebody made me a 3D printed a short trooper helmet, and it's phenomenal. So I have those three, and they're kind of hard to see, but they're like right here. So my camera's a little zoomed in. That's all the space I have, bro. Because what happens if I get 10 more?
That's
Where am I
right.
gonna put all these helmets? Like,
Just wear one every day.
Yeah, exactly. Something, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Will says Bestas have the option for wall mount as well.
Mm-hmm. They do. Because you can stack them and go all the way up.
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to, and then that's why they got the wall mount and even the ceiling mount. So I mean, there's options, man. There's options.
He also said NWO era was the best for me. I agree. NWO for life. Oh boy. Beskar Kid says, Jazzy, I ordered last May, was supposed to ship in December. Got a text from Brian that there was some logistic issues, and now looking at late Q1, worth the wait in my opinion. So Beskar Kid and I, it looks like we're pretty much on the same timeline. I ordered mine in mid-May. I was told in December it was going to be Q1. So here we are.
They are worth the wait.
But I know Dante ordered in, he said February, and he still doesn't have his. So that's concerning.
It's been really, look, it's been a freaking nightmare with COVID, seriously, and all this shipping. And it's just, look, it'd be a little bit different if Magic cases were made here domestically in the United States, but they're not. And anything overseas right now is just horrible.
And they only have, if I'm correct, they only have one facility where they make them worldwide.
Yeah, and I believe he said he was working on getting a second one up to cut down on the time frames, you know?
Right.
But that hasn't happened yet. So, you know, if you order now, you're still looking at a huge wait.
It's almost like getting a figure. You just gotta wait that year and a half.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
But so don't buy a Maju case if you're already like busting at the seams. You do have to plan ahead, you know, with this kind of stuff, or you're just not going to be able to display a lot of your figures. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, like I might move this year. That's still to be determined. And if I do, and then I find out where I'm at, I figure if I move, I'm going to be there for a while. So at that point, I'd be like, okay, let me measure this out in the new place and then see. Then I'll, you know what I mean? I'll pull the trigger on them.
We got Metamorphic Customs
Desi,
in the house.
up,
what's up, Desi? Jorge says, are you guys into Legos? Actually, no, but I was looking at trying to get my daughter into some Star Wars Legos, start her off. The first thing that pops up was a Star Destroyer for like $900. I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But that I didn't realize how expensive those could get, but they're huge. It's just
they are, but Legos have been expensive forever.
That's true.
You know, I mean, 35 years ago, yeah, I dabbled in Legos, but I was like, you know, I was a kid. And that's not to say it's just for kids, but that was fun for me growing up.
Right.
But I didn't really have the attachment to it, right? Like if somebody gave me like a cool Lego set, something Star Wars related or whatever, I'd put it together. But I'm not going to drop all this money on Legos, bro. They're too much. They're too much. I'm already into like Hot Toys and statues and stuff. There's no, I can't. I won't. I can't. You know what I mean?
So, all right. So we got some really good conversation here. So it's kind of like we're kind of just going with what you guys are bringing up in the chat. So that's a lot of fun, and that's again what this show is kind of about. We have an agenda, but if we get off track and kind of just talk about what you guys want to, then that's perfectly fine with me. Jables says he still needs a Stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah, I got my Shore Trooper, so that's it. But I think if I didn't have that, you gotta have a classic Stormtrooper helmet, you know?
Yeah. Jason says he ordered before COVID restrictions, November 2020. He got mine this past August. That's not too bad. If we're still talking about Maji cases here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Jay. Yeah, I remember when Jason got it. So that's still
That's
like that's 21 months.
I figured I was gonna probably email Brian middle to late February just to kind of get an update. I mean, because March is the end of the quarter, so we'll see. The last figure that I kind of wanted to, or maybe two figures, I guess, but really quickly, I know you're not the biggest DC collector. You're a DC fan though, right?
Yeah, I like DC. I have 0 DC figures right now.
So, this past week we also heard about Thunder Toys The Bloody Mod, which is Bloodsport. So these are third-party figures, so they're going to be unlicensed. And then I believe Thunder Toys is Toys R Us, is that correct?
I don't know if they are,
Okay.
to be honest with you. I mean, they could be, but I don't know.
And then SooSoo Toys released the Tactician, which is their um, figure for Bloodsport. So this is from the Suicide Squad, and this is, I think his name is Idris Elba. Is the
Yeah.
actor's name? He's a really good actor. I love watching everything he's in. I know this isn't Hot Toys, but let's just start with the SooSoo Toys here. What do you think of that head sculpt?
I'm not a fan. I'm not, to be honest with you, I think the other one looks better, but these aren't Hot Toys. And
Right.
SooSoo Toys has been nailing it though. Like they've been doing some really good figures.
Looks
I
cool with
think
the helmet on.
The helmet, yeah, it looks sick. If I were to get this figure, he would be helmeted. I'm also kind of partial to aliens, and that's total like xenomorph vibe going
Yep.
on. So I love that. It's like that H.R. Geiger, style. I love that. So I would just either way, even if the sculpt was great, I would still rock the helmet. But
Right.
I don't think the sculpt looks that great. They know that it doesn't look that great. I know that they've mentioned that recently that they're working on it. So
Okay.
we will see a difference for better or worse. But otherwise it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand, it's third party, it's unlicensed, it's cheaper than Hot Toys. Don't expect Hot Toys quality.
Right.
So going in with that mindset, I think it looks okay.
He looks like he's 70 years old. Like his face
He
is
does
real
kind of look,
wrinkly,
yeah.
lots of like gray in the hair. But this right here, the outfit looks pretty cool. I do wish Hot Toys would make some of the Suicide Squad figures. We have to get a Peacemaker. I don't know if you've been watching the show on HBO with Peacemaker, but it is
I haven't seen it yet.
so good. It's so much better than Book of Boba Fett, which hurts me to say because I'm just a big Star Wars fan. So it's so funny. I enjoy it. But yeah, this will be an interesting figure. And then Thunder Toys released this one, which I agree, the head sculpt looks a lot better.
Well, I think that's the Heimdall head sculpt that they released. Their third-party Heimdall. Now,
Okay.
the third-party Heimdall didn't actually have a sculpted separate head. He had his helmet covering his face, but you can still see his face.
Okay.
And I swear, like with those eyes and the way that look, I'm pretty sure that's the same damn head sculpt.
Interesting.
Except now it doesn't have a helmet. Because it just grabs me instantly. As soon as I see that, I was like, well, that's Heimdall from the their figure release. But so I think that one looks a lot better.
The only thing that throws me off is like this indent in the hair. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, otherwise I think it looks good. I love the detail in the suit looks great. It looks like a thicker material as opposed to the SooSoo Toys where it looks more like a fabric.
Yeah, which is weird because SooSoo is good.
Let's see if I can flip
Like they're
back here.
really good, man. I really enjoy them. I haven't had any issues with any of their figures. If anybody in the game, in the third party game, needs a license, I think SooSoo Toys would be the contender.
Mm-hmm.
Legalities aside, right? Because this is all like under the table, backdoor kind of illegal stuff, but they're really doing good, man. They've been doing really good lately.
Well, and maybe this one here from SooSoo Toys is going to be more posable because the material looks more like a fabric, and it doesn't look as thick, possibly. Like you can see it bunching up right here.
Yeah, that's all. That's exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. I think that one's
So
more fabric.
it
The
could be
so
yeah, so it could be a plus. So, but this pose like right here looks really good. This actually looks like him. I think in the light that it's taken in. So that's pretty cool too. I won't get it. But I do hope this kind of pushes Hot Toys to possibly make Bloodsport.
they may. It's just hard, man. Like the movie's not as well received. I know it did good, but like Spider-Man, you know,
Yes.
now they're like, oh well, we're gonna make a Goblin and a Doc Ock, despite the fact that you have already put out a third-party version and reissued the third-party version, but now it's relevant and it's you know what I'm saying. There's money to be made there, so now they're doing it. Suicide Squad, I don't feel that that's worth their investment
I
when
agree.
they already have other things that they need to that they have on their plate, right? They've got this queue of this backlog of figures they are needing to do. So is
But
it
it
worth it?
Yeah, and it threw me off that they made King Shark right away, but then they didn't make
Yeah, but that's
anybody
easy.
else.
That's easy.
I
He's just a piece of
I would have
plastic.
thought they
I
would have
mean, at
made
the end of the
Harley
day,
Quinn. Because Harley
they
would sell.
yeah, but they haven't even released Birds of Prey yet. There's still like 2 Harleys we
Oh,
haven't
that
even
is
gotten
so
yet.
crazy that has not been released yet. I can't believe that. How long has that movie been out? We got Will Foxification in the
Hey,
house.
Will, what's
What's
up?
up, Will? Thanks for stopping in the channel. Appreciate it. Will C says he looks a bit like David Washington. Medic G in the house. Didn't SooSoo say they were updating the head sculpt? Yep. So Anthony's on the ball.
Yep, that's true. So we'll see. Like I said, better or worse, they're doing something to it.
Right. I do think Peacemaker's going to get a figure eventually, just because that show has been so well received and so good. Like, and we're going to get into Book of Boba Fett here in a minute. And part of my complaints about it is we're watching Book of Boba Fett and we're like, well, maybe the last 2 episodes will save the series and it'll be worth it. Like, we shouldn't have to watch a show and say, oh well, let's hope for next week, and next week it'll be better. Next week it'll be
That's
better.
why I never finished Clone Wars.
And Peacemaker is so much fun each and every episode, and you care about the characters, and there's great arcs. I feel like Boba, like, this is not the Boba Fett that we knew even in Mandalorian season 2.
No, not at all.
And I guess speaking of that, let's get right into episode 5 thoughts. Anthony, I really want to like this show. And I haven't really said too much negative about it until
I have.
now. Until now. And it's funny because I say it now because I absolutely loved the last episode. But the joke is, well, what'd you think of Boba in that episode? It's his show, and he's not even in the episode, and it's probably the best episode we've got.
It is the best episode we've got. And it's a Mandalorian show.
Right.
That's it.
And
yeah.
They haven't spent any money on the show until all of a sudden we see Mando, and now it looks like you got like these new worlds we're seeing, and the budget looks like it's just been up a notch
Through the
and
roof.
you're just like, and then I don't know. We see Boba Fett, Mandalorian season 2. He's kicking stormtrooper ass. He looks like a beast. And then we're just watching Book of Boba Fett, and I love the throwbacks, or the flashbacks actually. I love seeing how he got to this point.
I did too.
But what's the show been like? What's going on? What are we doing? Like, I feel like he takes a back seat every time there's something important going on. And Fennec is always like saving his rear end, and he's tagging along, and they just made him look kind of incompetent, I guess.
Oh, he's a bumbling idiot.
Yeah,
and
like
I don't like that. He's turned into a meme. Like he really has, and it sucks. It sucks, dude. Because I like Boba Fett, right? And look, I like the flashbacks. I do. And how he is in the flashbacks. I like him how he is in the flashbacks too. Okay. But present day, when they're doing present day, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Or he's got an asthma attack. He's got to run back to his tank, and like Like, what? You just took out all these stormtroopers like a week ago in
Right.
timeline, right?
Right.
Because not much
Yeah.
time has passed since they, Fennec probably got off of, Moff Gideon's ship, met back up with Boba. They went into Jabba's palace. And here we are. So how did you go from being so badass to, has he even fired his blaster this show?
No.
I don't think he has. You know what I'm saying? Then you get episode 5 and Mando's immediately just hacking people in half, chopping their heads off. Shit's going off. Like, you're like, that's freaking badass. Like, holy shit. You're like, all right. And like you said, the budget's great. What the hell's the budget? Look at that speed chase, if you can even call it that. It was...
That was ridiculous.
And I don't know what his goal is. I mean, he kind of mentioned it in episode 4, right? He's like, I'm tired of working for people. I'm going to just kind of do, start up my own
fine.
thing. Sure. And I get that he's older and, more reflective, but that doesn't take away, what he just did in season 2 of Mando. So I'm like, what? I don't understand how you went from being really awesome to not being that great. Now, remember, growing up with the original trilogy, Boba Fett just looked badass.
Yeah, we didn't see him do anything.
We know shit about him. You know what I mean? He was mysterious. We know that he's supposedly really good because Darth Vader hires him. So you're like, well, if Vader's hiring this guy, he must be, he must be something. Then he gets knocked into the Sarlacc pit, and then we never hear about him again. I think the problem is the legends grow, and then quite literally, I read books. You know what I mean? After Return of the Jedi, growing up, we started getting the expanded universe, and they did a lot of cool stuff. And that's how he felt in the books. He was really awesome. But to be fair, yeah, we didn't know much about him. And then he comes in Mando and he's like so awesome, and now he's not. So I'm like, wait a minute.
It's like he forgot how to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the 2 scenes that irk me the most is the one in the kitchen, which we all know about, where he's chasing the droid around.
Oh, that like Ratatouille
Disney
thing is like...
And I really didn't like having the slave one at the Sarlacc pit. That scene, I didn't like it at all. Like, it to me, it was like they just wanted to show off the Sarlacc pit, but I don't know what he was doing. Like, he's like, he's with what he was doing with the ship, and then again, he can't even blow up the Sarlacc pit himself. Fennec is the one that reaches in and saves the day. Basically, it's like you couldn't even do that yourself. Like,
no, he couldn't. And the thing that was also weird is, like, why was he going in there for his armor when he climbed out with his armor?
Right, and some people are like, well, he was so out of mind.
That's what
he just
I tried
didn't
to
remember.
Say. That's how I was trying to justify it. But it's just kind of like, I watch Mando and I don't really get any of these weird oversights where I have to question these things or these inconsistencies or even just canonical like errors.
Yeah,
like they goof up a lot on all that stuff, and it's just like maybe they did better with Mando because he was a new character.
Well, that's what I heard too, is like they don't care about the old characters. They just care about the new ones. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I just think they maybe fumbled this one a little bit with their execution. But
yeah,
does it make you worry a little bit more about Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and the other ones? You're still...
No, I think Obi-Wan is going to be their Hot Toys Mark 85 battle damage. Like, they can't screw it up. It's too iconic. It's too well known. I mean, look, you have Boba Fett fans, but you have way more Obi-Wan fans and way more Darth Vader / Anakin fans. There's a huge following. That's up there with Luke. So I don't think that granted they kind of botched that in the sequels, but they redeemed it in Mando. I think that show's going to be amazing. I don't think they can screw up Obi-Wan. I mean, they could, but I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I don't think it's going to happen.
Gosh, I'm just looking forward to seeing Obi-Wan, but then also Darth Vader. Like, I've always been one to say, how come we can't get like a solo Darth Vader movie about just, with the Emperor? And I know there's like through comics and lore and whatnot, like after A New Hope, the Emperor kind of treated him like shit and made him do all these, like, I guess, quests or whatever you want to call it. Like when he hired Boba Fett and Chrysanthemum, and he had to go to Jabba's palace and whatnot. Like, it'd be cool to see more of that. And I don't know if maybe people are just worried that it would wreck the lore of Darth Vader. But gosh, like, you see Rogue One at the end, and you're just like, can we have more of that, please? And you see any scene with Vader, and you're just like, can we have more of that? So I'm hoping we get to see a good amount of him in Obi-Wan, but we'll see.
Me too.
All right, let's check back in with you guys here. Lewis in the house. What's up, Lewis? The Book of Mandalorian.
Pretty much.
Oh, this was weird too. We learned Jawas are furry, very furry. That it made me feel uncomfortable. She's like, I dated a Jawa. Yeah. I was just like, okay. I don't want to picture that. I can't help to wonder if they're intentionally making him look weaker than Din just to have him flip the script and beat him for control for the sword. And maybe when we see these last 2 episodes, it will put everything together and you'll be able to kind of watch it throughout.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about Mandalore. I don't think he cares about ruling.
What does he really even care about, honestly?
A shithole on Mos Espa. Like that's it, apparently.
Yeah.
So I don't, yeah.
Do you think we'll see him riding his Rancor?
Yeah, he's probably gonna eat those huts.
1/6 scale Rancor coming our way with Boba Fett riding it.
Yeah.
It's hard to make sense of it. I hope they pull it together last 2 episodes. Let's be clear here. Boba wasn't a badass until his appearance in The Mandalorian. He did absolutely nothing in the OT and has been far more badass in the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, that's true.
It is true. I just think he's nowhere near as badass as he was in Mando. And that's what I'm basing it off of because I just watched that last year. Yep. Now you're giving me this watered down version of him and I don't understand why. And if this is the only season, then I'm severely disappointed. I mentioned this before on my channel that if there's a season 2 and season 2 is like great and there's a reason for it, then I'm like, okay, then season 1 is actually really good because it's building into this. You see what I'm saying? This transformation or whatever he's doing, like it would build into it. But to my understanding, it's only 1 season. I thought it was just a limited
that's what series run. That's the understanding I had as well.
Right. So I don't think you're going to be able to redeem that in 2 more episodes, even if you bring in Han Solo, which is, what everybody's thinking right now with the rumors and everything and the IMDb leak and who knows, so what? Okay. It'd be great to see Han again. Sure. You bring in Kira or something, the Crimson Dawns, yeah, bring in all the member berries or whatever. Cool. But is that gonna make the first 5 or 4 episodes like great? Like I don't think so. But if they give me a season 2, yeah, I could see that happening.
Right, and it almost feels a little bit like, I don't know if you watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I did.
It feels like season 8 where everything kind of feels weird and sloppy and you're just hoping the last couple episodes save the season.
But it's just a train wreck.
Yeah, and I have those same feelings and I'm hoping it doesn't end the same way, but I guess we'll see. I'm wondering if we'll see more Boba Fett in season 3 of Mandalorian.
I think he's better as a side character.
I agree.
I don't think it's Tamora Morrison. At first I thought, was he good enough to star in a leading role, in a television series? And I say, yeah, dude, he is. I think he is. I don't blame him. I've even heard him, speak out against it, publicly. Saying he doesn't like what they're doing with Boba and he talks too much and this and that. And, like he's been vocal about that. And so I don't think it's him. I think it's the direction that they were going. It feels a little weird. Right. Feels very sequel trilogy-ish. Kind of like, oh, now granted we didn't know a lot about him, but we knew enough from last year of Mando that you've now set this standard, you know what I mean? Yeah. For at least me, and I'm sure other people as well, that, there's a precedence now. He's really freaking badass. Okay. Fast forward 6 to 8 months. We're like, whoa, what happened? Does he need a wheelchair? I mean, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it.
Does he know where he is right now? It's like Fennec is like his guardian or something. I don't know. It's
real bait and switchy. You know what I'm saying? And I like Fennec, but I feel like they're doing what I feel like a lot of things are happening in Hollywood or wherever, where they dumb down the male to empower the female, and I don't think that's the right way of doing that. There's plenty of awesome female roles out there that never did that. I mean, hell, even in Mandalorian, that worked out. Cara Dune was awesome. Side by side with Mandalorian, there was no You know what I'm saying? They were both equally
It worked.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, I'm just speaking in Star Wars and something like that's recent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So
It
then
just
that's why,
feels
like,
like
yeah,
like
Boba
Fennec
was awesome, and
carries
now
him.
he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you mentioned, she had to do the whole thing with the Sarlacc. It's like, come on, man. You don't have to do that. They can both be equally awesome. So I
Right.
don't know what their goal is here. I really don't.
Daniel says Vader didn't hire Boba Fett. He just put out a call for bounty hunters.
Yeah, I guess. Because, you know, you had, you know, IG-88 and Bosk and everybody. But I think, again, there was more to it when the book started being written, and then the older Dark Horse comics. This was back in the day before, you know. But even if you throw all that away, we just go back to season 2 of Mando.
Right.
You know, okay, he was awesome. What happened?
And it's not a terrible show by any means. I mean, it's much better
It's
still
not.
than
It's
the
not bad.
sequels, but there's just, I don't know. I guess you get high expectations with Mandalorian, and you were hoping they're going to carry that on,
Yeah,
and it's just not
that's a
looking
huge
like
thing,
it.
because even the filler episodes of Mando were still good. The budget was still good. The acting was still good. You know, the it just feels like I don't know. And then we're back at Tatooine again. It's like desert, man. Like, and then the budget just doesn't feel like it's there. And I
Right.
keep forgetting that it's a television show and it's not a movie. Because like Rogue One looked phenomenal from start to finish. You know,
Yes, it did.
it was amazing. And then, but then I go, well, wait a minute, Mando was pretty damn amazing too. So what the hell? So I can only attribute to they just don't. The budget's just not here. The budget's just not here for Book of Boba Fett.
Right. We got Braden in the house. He made it.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Beskar kid. Not sure how much more badass he needs to be in his show. LOL, he escaped the Sarlacc pit. Well, that was awesome, which apparently is inescapable, and single-handedly choked out the sand monster in the first episode.
The
Yeah.
flashbacks were cool.
Yeah, it's
I agree with you. The flashbacks were cool. And then he was all messed up, and you know he's dying of thirst, and he's with the Tuskens, and he kind of learns their ways, and I loved all that. I really did. I loved the flashbacks. I really, really did. It's just when it was present time,
he's walking around without a helmet on.
Yeah, and I'm judging him present time with present time season 2 Mando. Okay, because those flashbacks that we're seeing with the Tusken Raiders and everything are before season 2 Mando.
Right.
Okay, so that's cool. I like that. But now season 2 Mando is concurrent with present time Book of Boba Fett. What the hell just happened to him? That's my thing.
Well, and I think the other part too is he doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to the crime lord scene. You know, Fennec's giving him all the advice, and it just seems like he doesn't belong and he doesn't know what he's doing. So all of that just kind of bundled together, it's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that, getting into something new and not knowing what you're doing, regardless of how awesome you may be in combat. Right? I mean, I totally get that, but yeah, that's just another layer, right? Of weird decisions that when you put it all together and you look at it as a whole, got all these weird things that you're not really understanding. So I don't know if they're going to pull it together. I hope so, but
Andreas says, but then he gets to present time and he's questionable at best. But then Daniel chimes in here, the kinder, gentler Boba Fett.
Yeah, man, it's
found
different.
a new side.
But and look, you know, we can be the guys that say, hey, we should be lucky we're getting Star Wars, because people do that with everything. And I was like, no. I don't want to.
We have high standards.
Yeah, I don't want to be an elitist. I don't want to be a gatekeeper. It's not what I'm trying to say. It's just you've already shown me what you can do.
Right.
So can you keep that level of quality? I saw Mando. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is Star Wars. Like, I feel like was this a bait and switch? Because, you know, everybody, like, majority didn't like the sequels. And we kind of lost, you know, our taste for Star Wars. Then you bring out Mando and you're like, okay, we're won me back. And so, but again, they haven't disappointed either, because this recent episode, was
Right.
all Mando, and I'm like, dude, all right. So wait, why can't you? Why I want more of this?
Right.
I want more of this. You're showing off Naboo Starfighter. You know, you're showing the pod race area, Beggar's Canyon, the callbacks to Luke. You know, all this lore. We got this new cool Halo ring planet. You know, more exposition from the armor and a heavy Mando, and like it's really cool how they're talking about everything and the things that are going on with Grogu and like all of this stuff and what's up with the Darksaber and what's the deal with Bo-Katan. Like they overloaded us with a lot of story and lore with an amazing budget. So you see what I'm saying? Like,
It's just weird. And
what are you doing with Boba?
yeah,
That's like why I'm like, what the hell?
Here we have, if your audience is constantly questioning the logic of your characters, then the writing has issues. And that's
Agreed.
Partly true. It can be summed up succinctly: midlife crisis.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's good, but it's not where I would like it to be.
Right. What do you think?
Writer, but
what do you think this means for some Hot Toys figures? Maybe Heavy Mando, being that he's not I think he's weightless, or he's just completely gone at this point. Armor, will that pick up?
Oh, Heavy Mando sold out before he even got in stock, bro.
That's right.
He waitlisted before he was in stock.
That's right. I do remember that.
He 100% did, which is extremely rare.
K2SO, could we possibly get K2SO back?
We could possibly get that. I don't know, what is his designation? Is it an Imperial? I don't want to say an Imperial battle droid. I don't know what they're called.
I think
they're not going to call him. If that's what it is, they're going to call him something like that. They're not going to.
So they'll kind of.
They're not going to call him K2SO. They're not going to. It's not going to be branded Rogue One. It'll be branded Book of Boba Fett, or you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If they do it.
So
Heavy Infantry Mando, yeah, I think he's going to get a 2.0.
I think the armor will pick up in sales. I mean, hell, I watched that last episode and I bought her because of that. Yeah. So I think she'll have an uptick. So I've even seen on eBay, people are selling theirs for like $300, even though you can still get her at Sideshow. But I think her time's probably going to be coming soon where she gets sold out.
Yeah, a couple more months.
I'm trying to think. If there's anything else that we really saw that we might get. Nothing off the top of my head. Obviously, the last 2 episodes, there's probably going to be something else that we're just like, oh boy, like that's coming. So we'll just kind of have to wait
pretty much anything that they show that's going to be like an oh shit moment, we're going to get a figure for.
Yep.
If they bring in a Han and Chewie, we're going to get a figure. If they bring in a Cad Bane, we're going to get a figure.
Right.
You see, if they're bringing back the member berries, that's what I'm saying. If they bring in those, like they did with Luke was barely on screen. Let's be real. He had a 5-minute, cameo essentially. And boom, there's a Hot Toys Luke.
Is it selfish of me to not want Han and Chewie because I don't want my Grail to not be a Grail anymore?
It won't. It'll still no. Because I have Han and Chewie too. He's right there. You can see him. It will not be a New Hope Han and Chewie. Okay, there's going to be something slightly different. He may. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Han is going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. Okay, we don't know what he looks like. What outfit is he wearing? He could be wearing something completely different, right? A few years have passed since Return of the Jedi. He's not wearing his Bespin outfit. Is he wearing a classic Smuggler's? I think something will look different, yet familiar, but different. So they can release that. Like, this is how he appeared in the Book of Boba Fett. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Han and Chewie 2-packs that we have are still, that's a New Hope. That's 1977 right there. It's not going to, you see what I'm saying?
I just hope if they're going to bring Han back and do some deep fake stuff, they actually put some budget towards it, like Mandalorian budget, and not Book of Boba budget.
They hired the guy on YouTube.
I heard about that, yeah.
That was fact. Like, because he redid the Luke scene and it was like way better, and they hired that guy. For what?
Smart move.
For this. You see what I'm
Well, and I'm assuming we're going to see more Luke either now or in season 3 as well.
I'm sure we'll see him again. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's still a good show. It's just there's some issues with it. So we're not hating on it. We're just
No, it's adequate.
right.
Okay, if I had to, as of right now, with 4 episodes, and I'm calling it 4 episodes. Sorry.
Yeah.
With 4 episodes, it's a 5 out of 10 for me right now.
I don't want to harp on this either because I really did enjoy that episode, but to not have Boba Fett in there at all, like, what about the people that don't care about Mandalorian or are just watching for
Yeah, they
Boba
just totally
Fett?
got boned.
Like,
You know what I mean?
so I
They're
was
like,
like,
well, I'm watching a Mando episode.
which I'm fine with, and I'm sure majority of you are, but
Oh yeah, I think the
at the
majority of
same
us are.
time, it's just kind of, I was like, oh, not at all. Okay. Daniel
And
says
now
he'd
he's gonna
love.
meet up. Sorry.
Yep. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. Then he's gonna go meet up with Boba Fett.
So do you think? Because Mando said he's gonna go back and see a friend. Do you think we're gonna see him go to see Grogu now, like in this next episode,
Nah,
or
that's gonna be probably the beginning of season 3 or something.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? Because they can't double down and
right?
have show Mando go off doing this in a Boba Fett show.
We're gonna
So,
switch over now to Mando for the last 3
right,
episodes.
he's either gonna come help. He's either gonna come help because right at the end we saw Fennec and Fennec was talking to him about it, and then he could either choose to accept her offer and go help, or decline it and go try to find Grogu. If he
Right.
declines it, then we're not going to see him the rest of the season. That can give us, like a Han thing or whatever's coming, right?
Right.
I'm cool with that. I didn't want Mando to come save the day.
And I am still excited for the last 2 episodes, so I'm hoping we
Me
get some
too.
good
Me
things.
too. I am.
Daniel says he'd love a K2SO Imperial tactical droid. Is
Yeah,
that
see,
what
I don't know
called?
its designation, but exactly that, right? Just kind of like a vanilla droid, no name.
Yeah.
That is acceptable as a reissue, I think, for most collectors.
Kyle,
I mean, do you guys really need him to be K2SO from Rogue One, or do you just want that
you
badass
just want
droid?
Yeah. Kyle says too he'd love K2 to be a reissue. Lewis, I love the purge scene with K2SO and all the Imperial droids. Very Terminator like. That's what I was thinking as
It was
well.
a total homage.
Very
to
much
Terminator.
Judgment Day. Jables says we need Chewie and C-3PO in pieces. That would be cool. That would be cool. Let's see. Medic G. Yeah, those 2 will be Grails. T2 vibes.
Absolutely.
I hope we see Grogu and Luke episode at the start of Mandalorian 3. Let's concentrate on Boba for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, this is his show. It's the book of Boba Fett.
Right.
So what's happening? And they keep showing flashbacks of him and Django. Him as a kid. So what's going on with that? Are they going to allude to something with Mace? Is Mace Windu alive? That would be cool.
I think they're going to bring him back at some point.
Because that's maybe he leaves the planet. He says, screw all this shit.
They gave you the out where you didn't see him die. So
yeah, well, if you think about it, if they did it, because they keep going back to this cantina, right, with the Twi'leks, and they could be in the cantina for whatever, and some dude could just be like, yo, and tell him some bullshit rumor. Now, whether or not he believes it or not, it's up to him if he wants to pursue this information. But I think it would nag him so much that the fact that it could be possible is too big of a deal for him to ignore.
Right.
And then he would go off world. And that maybe that could lead into a thing of season 2. I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
speculating here.
Yeah, I'm just because we're fans, and that would be really cool to see. I mean, you bring back Palpatine, dude, of all people.
Oh,
right?
That was weird.
Right? So you can bring back Mace Windu. He just fell.
Right.
He probably force, landed and scurried off. And now he doesn't have an arm like everybody else in Star Wars. So it doesn't matter. Like, he's okay.
And again, compared to the sequels, in my opinion, this Book of Boba Fett's really good. So I just felt like they were kind of making things up as they went along and how the Force works. And I love it when Poe was like, Palpatine's back somehow. I'm just
somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
That was dialogue in a movie.
Like, well, okay.
It's just like, oh, okay. So that's how we're going to explain it.
The Star Destroyers with the cannons on them just raise up out of the ground. I'm like, where's this coming from? Like, do we We're just
What do
making
they have?
stuff up.
A thousand Star Destroyers with a
Yeah.
thousand Death Star planet killers on them.
Ray just knows how to do
Somebody
everything.
entered in a cheat code, and
Yeah.
you know, like what happened? Like, yeah, it was so bad, so bad.
I mean, I can watch them, and to a certain extent, I do enjoy Rise of Skywalker. The Last Jedi, I have a really hard time getting behind, but I'll watch them. But I don't want to get
Yeah,
into
it's
it.
just that's a whole nother topic.
Don't want to get into it, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's check back in with the chat. Then we're just going to talk about one more thing before we get out of here.
Sure.
No one's really ever gone.
Yeah, that was the catchphrase in episode 8, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I want to talk about tonight, and I'm going to save some of these other topics for another time, is Anthony, do you keep your art boxes and shippers? And if so, how do you store them?
Yes, and they're all crammed under my bed. So I'm being real with you guys.
Do you have a bunk bed where it's just the
size
top
bed and I have a pretty high frame, so I'm able to effectively stack 3 hot toy boxes in height under my bed. So like I said, I'm pretty elevated, you know, with this frame. It was not intentional, but it's a happy accident. So, and I don't have that many hot toys. I'd say I have under 100, but nearing that, you know, I'm somewhere in 70 to 100, you know, I don't know, but they fit, but it's starting to become a problem.
Would you ever consider
pour out?
Would you consider getting like a storage unit? I feel like that's when you have a problem.
Yeah, no. For me personally, no. I know some people who do, but for other reasons.
Okay.
You know, maybe they have furniture, other things like that, so they already have a storage unit, but I would never personally not have a storage unit and then intentionally go get one to store boxes, because I'm paying for that, and I'm going to spend how much money at minimum, you know, $50 minimum, right?
Right.
So if I do that at minimum, that's $600 a year. I'm just pissing down nowhere. So I don't see it working out that way for me, dude.
Desi says he has a storage room, but is that attached to your house or are you paying separately?
Well, he says he keeps a lot in there, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Desi. You gotta let us know. And by all means, if you've got the money to do it, do it. But I just don't want to do that. I'm poor.
I feel like
I have an addiction of hot toys and statues, and I'm not gonna.
One sidebar here, boys. Sorry, I know we moved on, but I wanted to ask, what are the chances we see Bosk or Cad Bane in Book of Boba? I think Cad Bane's a decent percentage that we see.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bosk. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. They have this race there, and they mention it a couple times, but I don't know. It's, you know, we'll probably see something.
Desi says no public storage, so he's probably hopping off and unfollowing the channel.
That's fine, Desi. I get it.
No, it's fine. I just I don't know. Because the reason I ask is because I think we both agree you have to hold on to the art boxes, and at the very least,
the boxes. You can throw away the shippers.
And I would hold on to the shippers just because they fit, you know, right over the top, and they kind of protect the box. Plus, if you do change your mind and you ever want to sell the item, obviously you're going to be getting your money back. Whereas if you sell it loose, like for example, I bought Han Solo, A New Hope, loose 2 or 3 months ago. I got him for $250. Had all the accessories except the base. I bought the box for $50, you know, and then you get the base for what, maybe another 50, and now you can sell them for what, maybe $600. Like, the change from going loose to having like a complete figure set, to me, is enough that if you change your mind or if you want to move on from the figure, you can get your money back. Do you kind of agree with that, Anthony?
Yeah, as far as the box goes, yeah, the shippers don't matter.
Right.
They really don't.
The shippers I only keep to easily ship away because I don't really have.
Yeah, that's the convenience, right? Because they're just, you slap them in, slap a shipping label on, out the door. It depends on your intentions, man. You know, I mean, do you intend on selling your figures? If the answer is no, then Yeah, get rid of it, you know.
Right.
But you have to be damn sure you're never going to sell those figures. As far as the main box goes, you
And
know
I
what I'm
never say
saying?
never because I mean,
Right, shit
shit.
can happen. Life happens, and you
I
have an
just sold
emergency or
my
a disaster, or your children or something. You're like,
yeah,
I got to sell my collection. I just got to go.
yeah. I just
You
sold
know.
my Iron Man Mark 7 today on eBay, so he's shipping out. And I that was one I didn't think I would sell, but I don't need a bunch of Iron Man figures, and I have the 85. So again, like taste, like we talked about earlier in the show, tastes change, we
Yeah.
change. So I would just always be prepared and have the box if possible. But I mean, I'm running out of space too. So this is my back room in the basement. It's like our storage room. And I have like the shelf, and I got a bunch there. And then in our another part of the basement, they're starting to kind of overflow in there in the kids' toy room. And then I try to get creative, and I try to display them underneath the detofs, just to kind of store more things and make it look okay. So it's a real thing, like
Oh, it's a
Desi
huge thing.
like Desi says, it's hidden costs of collecting storage boxes, like because they take up a lot of space. So I'm always curious of what people do with theirs, where they store them, if they keep them, because I know some collectors will even just throw it out,
Well,
which
China and Japan especially.
really,
Yeah, they don't even keep the art box. They throw all of it away. There's no space, dude. I mean, if you've seen an
that's true.
apartment in Japan,
That's true, man. I mean,
I'm serious too. I'm not even just like saying this as some stereotype. Like
right.
nobody keeps the shit over there. They don't. It's just where are they gonna put all these boxes, man? So it's tough. It is. Desi's right. It is a consideration, man. And maybe he got to that point where he was like, you know what, I think I need some auxiliary storage. For me, I just don't want to do it unless I had other things. Like if I had other furniture, just stuff, that I was like, all right, this will clear up a whole lot of space if I get rid of this living room set right now that I'm not using, or something, or a dining table, or whatever, or a TV that I'm not ready to sell, but maybe I picked up a new one. Just stuff like that, right? Or old like memorabilia or whatever, right? Then I can be like,
Right.
oh, I guess I could put my hot toys there too. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to try to justify why I'm putting money in there, and I don't want to do it just to store my hot toys personally.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of what I run into as well. Like, I mean, I do have a house, but at the same time, I mean, space is at a premium. I got 2 kids that take up a lot of space. I'm starting to take up a lot of space myself. So, kind of like Jabel says, he keeps all the boxes and the shippers as well. He's about 80 figures in, and they fill up one closet completely. So he's going to have to think of alternatives soon. So, I mean, outside of getting a storage unit, are there alternatives outside of throwing them away? I don't know.
No, it's just a game of Tetris in your house.
That's true too.
This really is. How can I fit these in here efficiently? Don't just put them somewhere. You gotta stack them just right, man. Is this a bigger shipper? Okay, these bigger ones will fit here, and I can fit a thinner one in here. Is it a SooSoo
Yeah.
Toys figure? Because the box is thinner. Oh, that can squeeze right in there. You know what I mean? You have to maximize your space, man. It's crazy.
Well, and Desi brings up another good point, and this is why I really got to hold myself back from getting into statues. He's been collecting since '07. You're never going to sell them until you sell them. But really, Hot
True.
Toys aren't that bad. It's the statue boxes. Those things are mammoth, especially if you're getting
Yep.
like one-third scale. Like,
I had a third scale Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Reptile Pop Culture Shock third scale Mortal Kombat Classic statues. Those things were massive, man. They're like 2.5 feet tall, and then their boxes were huge too. And I'm in a small apartment, man. I didn't even know where to put those things, so I ended up selling them, and I took a loss on it too. Statues are hard to sell, man. They kind of are, because when they get up there, when they sell out, and then the prices skyrocket, that's a factor. And people are like, "Oh, I don't want to spend like 1,500, $2,000 on this because I missed it."
right.
It's possible, but it's not as common as pulling the trigger on a $400 hot toy. You know what I mean?
Well, and just moving a statue costs possibly a couple $100 to ship that
Yeah, the
out.
shipping
And
sucks. Yeah, like I took a loss selling my Mortal Kombat statues. with shipping and everything.
So this is actually, well, let's just see what Medic G says first here. I keep every box I don't intend to sell, but I know eventually I'll get too old for collecting and eventually I'll sell everything. Don't talk like that. We don't want to hear that. You'll never get too old to not collect. But we'll
Never say
see.
never, though.
That's true. I mean, seasons change, you know. You might just not be into it anymore.
Yeah.
Do you guys keep the accessories in the box? And this was actually the next question I was going to ask you, Anthony.
I do not.
Tackle boxes, is that what you use?
No, I'm a little more ghetto than that. I just have a bunch of Ziploc bags. So I
Nothing
have
wrong
like
with
little
that.
totes, little tote bin. And I put all my stuff in separate Ziploc sandwich bags. And then I put all those bags in this tote. And then I could just pick that thing up and flip through. I use a Sharpie and I write on every Ziploc bag, like what the character is. And if it's too big to fit in the bag, then I will leave it in the box. But for the most part, almost everything fits in there. So, because again, they're all under my bed and they're packed in, they're tightly packed and organized. I'm not going to take out 100 boxes and find the exact one I'm looking for to get an accessory out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
I'm getting to the point. I mean, I'm just over 50 figures right now, and I'm stubborn. So you see this picture, I have a step ladder, and I look and I hit my head on these damn rafters.
trying to like dig around.
Yeah.
Like,
But I try to keep them like where I know they're at so I can come back to them. But then I'm like, I was just looking for, I think, a stormtrooper one or something. And I put it all the way in the back because I was figuring to myself, you'll never need this because your stormtrooper doesn't need any accessories. Well, then I wanted to change it up and I needed a different hand. So I literally am like digging through, trying to find the tops, trying to pull it out. Um, I don't know, something about me says to myself that I have to keep them in the box because it's easier, even though I think your way is easier. It's just something in my mind where I can't get over it. So I do keep all of my stuff in the art boxes still. The only reason I have these guys in the playroom here is because I don't have the shippers, so I just keep them kind of in a nicer area.
yeah, I can see that.
Because obviously they don't need the protection as much, but I don't know. There's there's no great way. So if anybody has any great ideas, let us know. Where do you guys keep your accessories? Do you keep them in the art boxes?
I think it would depend on the number, right? The
I think
number
so.
of figures each individual has in their collection. Because for a while I did. I left them in their boxes until it gets out of control. And then you got to work smarter, not harder, So I have to come up with ideas. Tackle box, like you mentioned, is a great one. Ziploc bags, as Desi has also mentioned, he utilizes. Like you got to figure out, what's easy for you. Do you change positions a lot? Do you take photos? Do you record videos? Do you, are these a fire and forget? You just put them in a DTOF or whatever, and you don't mess with them for 6 months.
Right.
You got to factor in all these things.
I think my first step is going to be to put these guys on their side, and then I'll probably stack them to the ceiling, because I do have some room there yet. So we got room for a few more figures here before we really got to think about it. But it's a real thing that collectors have to think about.
It's very true. It's like kind of as he was saying, there's hidden costs to it, but there's also like hidden, strategies. How do you organize things? Where do you live? Is it a small place? What's the square footage? How much room do you actually have? How much room are you allowed to have?
Right.
Some people may be married and their, significant others are like, yo, you can't be having all this shit, stacked in the hallway. Like realistically, right? Because us guys would be like, whatever, it's out of the way. It's
right.
I'll put it there for now. I'll figure it out later. Sometimes some people don't have that luxury.
Important note: if you leave accessories, specifically pleather accessories, in the box, then don't leave the box in a room that's not climate controlled. Very very good advice right there.
Yes. Next time you come back, it's disintegrated. You're like, what the hell happened? I didn't even touch it.
I'm the boxes, but I only have a few hot toys. Anthony's seen my collection. He knows I don't have many at all.
It's true, but he's got a nice setup for what
Oh,
he
in the
has.
boxes.
Yeah, and again, I was like that too. When I didn't have a very large collection, sure, we can leave it in the box because I only have a few boxes. It's super easy to get to them. But when you start having stuff like this, like like what you're showing on screen, you're like, okay, I got a problem, man. I got to put these somewhere. Like, what do I do? And do I got to go search an hour for a Stormtrooper box to find a hand? No, nah. You gotta, like I said, you gotta come up with alternatives.
And I'm getting to that point. I think we might rearrange a little bit, but it's getting to the point because the other thing is if I flip them on their side and I stack them up, I'm gonna have stacks in front of them, so you're not gonna be able to see what's in the back. Where this way I can kind of hover over. So I don't know. It's just something we all got to figure out here, but it's interesting topic. So I just always like to see what other people do with their storage boxes. Well, I mean, we're pretty much at an hour and a half here, so I think we'll probably call it. Appreciate each and every one of you guys getting on the show tonight. Anthony, thank you so much for getting on. It's a lot of fun, and
Thank you for
hopefully you can
having me.
do it again. You want to
Yeah, no,
tell us what you're kind of working on your channel?
ooh, yeah. Well, I do my streams on Saturday evenings, and actually I do 2 streams on Saturdays. I do the posing review with Mario from Collecting Weekly, where we've been going through the older line of Star Wars figures and some others, but we started basically with the Rogue One line, as him and I have almost everything Rogue One. I think he actually has everything Rogue One. I'm missing a couple things, but we go through and kind of just do a review, like an unboxing again, and give a kind of retrospective of like our thoughts on the figures, because we've had them for quite a while, and it's fun, and a lot of people love to see these figures, and so we do that on Saturdays. I think we may actually switch it to Sunday for this week just because of scheduling issues, but typically Saturday mornings we do that, and Saturday evenings the live streams, and now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm gonna get back to doing some of my reviews. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm approaching my 1,000 subscribers, so
Head on over there.
Giving that IG-11 away. I still have one sealed. So one lucky random person will get that once we hit that 1,000. So that's really cool, man. If you guys haven't already subscribed, come check it out, man. And you guys like it, man, go ahead and feel free to subscribe. And it's fun, man.
Let's do what we can to get Anthony to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So head over to his channel. I'll put a link in the description below here so you guys can easily head over there and let's get him to 1,000 because this guy deserves it. He puts in the work. He's very knowledgeable. Part of the reason why I like having him on my channel. So yeah,
Appreciate
let's do it.
Really.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, I love talking about it. And you keep yourself busy because like I said, you're on like a live stream almost like every night. Like I try to catch him when I can, but
yeah, it's
you're a warrior.
It's yeah, bud. And believe me, it's not doing it to do it. I do it because everybody who invites me, I've grown close to. We have a lot of good discussions. It's fun, so we all have a fun time, man, with the community. So it's like, but sometimes, yeah, you gotta kind of be like, you know what, today's good. I need a me day. I need to watch some TV and just or something, or but it is fun, man. It is fun, and it is a lot of work. But I think everybody enjoys it, and the community. I think the community is what drives me.
It's a great community.
It is. It really is.
And that's why I like doing this live stream. It took me so long to just, I guess, get the nerve to do it. But I just love like interacting with you guys. Like I love making videos too, but the interacting part is just so much fun. I know we were on Dante's channel last week or whatever. I think it was last week. And
yeah,
you're like, yeah, I usually do my live streams on Monday, but I got to switch a day to a different day because it's just too hard. And then like a couple days later, I'm like, hey, Anthony, you want to be on my live stream Monday night?
No, it's just, for me, I don't know another way to say it, but I think I kind of just outgrew that Monday afternoon because it just got to that point where I was getting a consistent amount of people tuning in, and then other people that want to come on the panel. They, between both of them, a lot of people couldn't.
Right.
They just and I'm West Coast, so for me it's much earlier. So it's difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult overall. So I was like, you know what? Okay, we're gonna move to Saturdays, and by any means, I mean, I can still come here. Today's Monday. I'm here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's just it worked out better, I think, that way for me.
I hear you. Some things I'm working on, like I kind of told you guys about. I still have my Endgame Hulk that I could review, but I just haven't been in a rush, I guess, to get him out yet. But Armor is coming tomorrow. We got some Black Series helmets coming, so probably do a couple reviews coming up. I was doing this stream on Tuesdays, but I've been getting invited to Dante's channel, Man of Hot Collectibles, which is amazing, and
The
I
man.
appreciate it. So I'm thinking about just moving this to Monday nights, at least for now. So if you guys are the hardcore guys, just maybe make a note Monday nights, but it could change. So that's pretty much it. So I don't have anything else, but this was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun,
So
man.
let's do it again sometime. And I guess I'll just let you guys go. So until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.